Now let's go head back to our design and let's see what we need to do next. So we need a landing section. Let's go to the yeah. So in the landing section, as I said, we need a container fluid, container wrapper, and then all these containers and uh, headings. So let's go back to our code. Just try to implement that. For that, let's create a div first, and then give it a few classes. Named P4. So what P4 does is it gives padding of 4 rems. 4 rems, that means 4 into 16, that is 64 pixel from all the sides. So a rem is a unit defined it is a standardized unit, and 1 rem equals to 16 pixels. So this is P-4 means P padding of 4 rems on all sides, top, left, bottom and right side. So we'll do that, and then we'll give this style background color RGB 81 173 226. Now inside this wrapper I'll make again a div which has class container. For now I'm just writing styles inside with the inline CSS. Later we'll just copy and paste it in the index.css file to make our code cleaner. Style equal to height. I'll give this height of inherit. Inside this I'll create another div of class row, and then say text left, and inside this I'll create an h3 tag for the hello. After hello, so basically I created this container with padding, and then I created a row. So this gives me this inside container. Then I'm writing call md6 or call 12. So what I need to do is I need to divide this in this container into two equal parts. So in one half there will be this content, text and buttons, and in the another half I'll place the image. So that is why I have written call md6. So if md is medium screens, so Bootstrap has this responsive classes. So what does this mean? This is call 6. Okay, now this means that this div will occupy 6 columns out of the 12 columns that are available on the screen. The Bootstrap grid has a way of creating layouts. So the whole screen is divided into 12 equal parts, and using that convention we can place our elements very nicely. So what I have done is I have occupied 6 columns out of the 12, and remaining 6 I have given to this image wrapper. So first I'll code for the first half, that is, and why I have mentioned MD is that above medium screen is, that is laptop, and above the space occupied by this div, the content or the text div will be 6 columns, and if the size shrinks, if the screen size shrinks below the laptop screen, then all columns of all 12 columns will be occupied by the content, and the image will be stacked below it. So we'll see it later. Now let me code ahead. I'll just say h2, then again h2, all right. So now we need a p tag which has a lot of content. So just paste in some content of lorem ipsum, random text over here. All right, now let's save this and look it in our browser. Okay, so now we have our headings, 3 headings, and the text. Okay, so this looks good, but what we wanted is that this landing section or the blue section should go all beyond up to the full screen size as per our design. And there also has to be a 2 buttons and then image. So now for the buttons, I'll create another row by typing div.row. So now this creates a div with class mentioned as row, and inside this I'll create 2 buttons. So for button I'll take help from Bootstrap. Let's go to buttons and copy these 2, paste it over here. Now let's save and see what does. Okay, now we have primary and a secondary button, but they are not placed properly. As per our design, there should be some gap between them, and it should say resume and projects. So let's change that. save it and say success. Yeah, so that makes it green. You can see success. We have BTN, that's success. We had secondary, so that is why it was appearing gray. Now it's corrected, but still we haven't solved one problem, that is this section has to be full width or full height. Now before that, let's add in our image and let's see what happens. So after this column that I had given six spaces or six columns that were occupied, so let's create another half of it. So for the image wrapper, so div dot call md6 and call 12. I'll say image then I need src. I'll give intro dot ap. Also let's mention the alternate text. Let's check the file extension. Oh, it is png. Let's save that. For that, let's give it a style. It is width 70% and height of 70%. Save that and see what it. Okay, so now it has become full screen when we added the image, but there's still a problem. But that according to our design, the text should be in the center and the image should be a little shifted towards the bottom. So that can also be fixed. Let's do that. Just add text right. So you can see this image has shifted a little right. Before it was aligned to the left by default and it was a little close to the text area. Now it has shifted towards the right, but we need to bring this whole thing to the to the image to the bottom and the text the center. So for that, let's create an image class, target this image over here, and inside this I'll just say justify content to flex end. Now let's save and see the changes. Okay. Forgot to make the columns as flex containers. So let's do that. Call md6 say display flex, justify the content to center, and the flex direction should be column. Save that and let's see if okay, still not okay. It seems that our index.css file is not linked with the HTML document. Oh, yeah, that's right. So think our index.css file now the document and let's browse it and so now our content is in the center and the image is also in the center. Now let's create another section of our code, that is this services section. So instead of wrapping up with div, let's wrap it up with section this time, and let's give it class called services, make it a container. Let's give the padding in x axis of 4. So this means from left and right side padding will be of 4 rems and margin y of 5. So in the y axis, that is top and bottom, the margin would be of 5 rems. Inside this section, let's create a div of row, and then we'll create some columns. So div dot call md4, then I'll say call 12 and my2. In this, I'll create a div of card, or I'll just rather paste it the start. Let's head over to Bootstrap and copy card. So this is a card example. So what we need is a card header and a card body. So yeah, this kind of a card. Just copy this and let's this, head over to the code section and just paste it over here. Now just save this and in the browser, how does it look? So this is the card that we just pasted, and it is right in the, there's some margin from the left hand side. Even if the content is not there inside the card body, there should be a minimum height and width of the card. So we'll define it later. First create pics of the cards. Just copy it again and again 6 times. So we have already pasted it once, so rest 5 times. Let's see. Yes. Alright, so now we have 6 cards. Let's change the content to to Control F. And replace it with service. Go to save the code. Okay, so I already replaced that. I had to do replace all. Now if you look in the browser, so all the cards heading have been changed to service. Now let's give them numbers. Service 1, 2. Services are nothing but your skill set name. Rather, I write PHP HTML5 this dash Bootstrap React yes, say let's save it. So you can see all your services and or the skill sets are being displayed, and in here you can go write your skill set level. So on the scale of 5, how much do you know about the language or the framework? So all you can mention inside these boxes. The next part is the footer. So we have completed this section, and then we need to code our footer. For that, let's create a footer. Inside the footer, I'll mention some classes. First of all, it should be container fluid because it has to occupy the full length, and it's some padding. I'll give it some style right now, inline form. Inside the footer, there are some headings. So first was get in touch. Was the different form. So now I'll save this code and let's see what changes have been made. Okay, so now we have a footer and we have a nice heading in touch, and then you can contact me on different platforms. Now the design, we have 3 icons or buttons. So you can add these icons from any of the libraries, or you can insert some images, and there's some small text. Add small text. I'll give it font size 10. Save and see in the browser. Yeah. You have that subtitle or the copyright line, you have this footer, you have the cards, you have these two buttons and the introductory. I'll also show you guys that this web page that we created with Bootstrap is also responsive. So if we also, that has also reduced your time to make it responsive, as we have used Bootstrap. So all that things have been taken care of. So if I show you in the mobile view, so this is how it will look in your mobile view. See, all the uh, services sections are stacked one below another, and the footer section is also resized automatically because it was container fluid. And this, your nav bar has also collapsed into this icon. So some reason this is not working, but if you click on it, there'll be a collapsing nav bar appearing, and this text has also stacked one below another, and the image is gone before, because if you see the image, we have specified display none and DSM flex. So what it means that above the small size screen, the image, this div should be of flex, uh, display of flex, and below SM the image should not appear, that is display none. So this screen size is below SM size or small size, that is why the image is not being displayed. As I increase this size a little bit, we go to the responsive mode, you see this thing automatically changes its width, and if I reduce it more, see, now the image has stacked below the content. If I even reduce it more, now this is the small size. Now below the small size, the image is not appearing. So this was the tutorial on how to make a simple web page with Bootstrap, CSS and HTML. So this is it for this video. In the next video, we'll see how to upload this or host this basic portfolio on your GitHub account. So stay tuned, guys. Thank you.